a very practical thing that we need to address about the power of the two-party system and how hyper-partisan things have become, because those two parties basically can accept an unlimited amount of money from any individual, business, or whatever. And that creates an incredible amount of leverage for them to hold over members of Congress from both political parties who may be looking at an issue or a vote that's coming to the House floor based on its merits. Imagine that. Thinking about, all right, well, how will this best impact my constituents? But if they're thinking about voting against the party interest, then more often than not, they get the phone call or they get the tap on the shoulder on the House floor before the vote saying, don't you dare. If you vote against the party interest, then when it's time for your reelection and you need help, we're not going to be there for you. Now, if you look at the contrast between the unlimited amount of money basically that they're able to take, an individual member of Congress, even candidate for president, the max is $2,800 per election that you can accept from any individual. You see the great imbalance. And then you see how the decisions, even about what bills are brought to the floor for a vote, the agendas that are set, are really in the hands of just a couple of people of the party that's in charge. This is the root of how we need to change, because those parties, whoever, and it goes both ways, their number one goal is getting more power in the next election. And the day after the election, whether you're the winning side or the losing side, you're thinking about how do we grow our numbers. There's always winners and losers in elections, got it. And there's different ideas coming from both parties on how to tackle these problems, got it. How about get to work and actually figure out how to solve some of these problems, rather than worrying about, well, I don't want to give those guys a political win, so we're going to withhold our support until we can figure it out so that our side can get the win. This is so heart-wrenching and disgusting on many levels, because the result and the impact of this is people suffer. People in this country suffer. We were working on passage of the First Step Act, a criminal justice reform bill. It had support from very progressive members of Congress, people who call themselves progressives, people who call themselves conservatives. They'd reached a consensus, built a bill that wasn't perfect, but it actually made progress towards prison reform and reducing high recidivism rates in prisons, helping people in their lives and also saving money in the process. I'm not even kidding you. There are leaders in the House and the Senate who came out in opposition to this bill because they did not want to deliver a political win to Donald Trump. They'd rather leave people rotting in prison than deliver a win to Donald Trump. Give him something that he could say that he accomplished. It's sickening. But this is the result of what happens when people put partisan interests ahead of the interests of the people of our country. Thankfully, we were able to get that bill passed through the House, got it passed through the Senate. Trump signed it into law. And there are thousands of people who are home with their families today because of the passage of that legislation. People coming together and putting people ahead of politics, putting people ahead of profits. So what will I do? This is the culture of leadership, and leadership matters. How we lead in this country sets that tone and that example of how we will continue to be able to put people ahead of politics and actually deliver the results that people deserve.